Praise Yahbashim Yashah Bashim Rakakadash. Honors elders, men and truth on down like-minded ones. Guard this truth and knowledge so we know this truth and knowledge. And the Wadi Yahbashim Yashah with the spirit, elders, men and truth on down like-minded ones. Teaching this truth and knowledge so we know this truth and knowledge. Call holy Yahbashim Yashah Bashim Rakakadash. Give all praise Yahbashim Yashah Bashim Rakakadash. Continuation relating to news. Alec Baldwin indicted by a grand jury. It's 20 minutes ago. Fox. Relating to that shooting. Mishap, I guess. Aboard the USS Bantam. Key takeaways from the DOJ, Department of Justice, reports and more. Board of U.S. Bantam, key takeaways from DOJ, VRD report and more. Oh, talking about what's going on with the ships, the Uvalde situation, and in Texas relating to the cops being negligent as far as not getting in time response regarding that shooting and more stuff. DA's response to the subpoena. The judge. Heavy snows impact the cities across the country. Heavy snow, even deaths relating to heavy snow. You have U.S. agricultural land is not the only thing foreign buyers are interested in. This relates to investing in properties too. Purchase 53.3 billion worth of U.S. residential properties, April 2022 to March 2023. 9.6 from the previous year, so it went up. So it's not the only thing they're interested in. Farmland, it's part of that farmland too. Different things these buyers are interested in, and so it's not far-fetched, man. Relating to pretty much having stock, pretty much relating to the properties, man. Let me see. 53.3 billion in foreign buyers purchases, 84,600 homes, property, farmland, residential space. Let me say, main security of the state appeals court decision over Trump's primary ballot eligibility related to Maine and some other states. Plane makes emergency landing on the Virginia highway. There was an explosion, I believe, some kind of chemical explosion. I believe it was in New York or one of them. Firefighters respond to a scene in that area, then shortly after, some explosion happened. Israeli officials disagree in public over how war with Hamas should end. You have big news too. You have a NATO joint military exercise that's going to end through end of May of 2023, with various nations: Poland, Norway, Germany, Romania, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, just for example. Poland is just for a few, for example. 31 plus relating to countries. Relating to over 90,000 plus relating to reconnaissance, logistics, and other supply and other type areas relating to that. And that's going out be a joint NATO, pretty much military exercise, biggest relating to the NATO. And that will go on until the end of May, as reports, Wyoming report and various other reports, Euro News and different other reports relating to that. So Joel 3:9. And those areas are near Russia anyway, man. So, especially like Poland in that area. Joel 3. Um, 3 and 9. Proclaim ye. Proclaim means to announce among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men which are their soldiers. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares and swords into pruning hooks, into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So these nations that were once not as strong now are, man. They're becoming militarily capable, man. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, gather yourselves round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, man. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shapah, which is Yahweh, for he has judged. Amagawan, the mountains, mountain of troops. That goes to the government, armies of troops. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause the mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for he has judged. For there I will sit to judge all the heathens round about, man. Put ye the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, is ready, is ripe. Get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow. And that's pretty much the blood, man. Squeezing like the blood overflowing. The flow like that wine, that blood is like the wine pressing on that press. Wine press. Gushing out, related to the juices. That's the blood, man. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. So their wickedness is great. That's why relating to judgment, man. A multitude in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord in the valley of decision. The day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision, man. Relating to these nations, these mighty nations. Scriptures talk about Second Ezra 16. You can go to Ezekiel 38, relating to specific nations versus specific nations. You have relating to the Human Rights Act, which is the HR 3832, I've seen a report relating to the DX Act of 2023, summer of 2023, last summer, relating to passed by House and Congress of around June 2023. That was a report related to the DX, because they talking about that a lot. So there's paperwork on that as well. Then you have Second Ezra 16. Let's get that. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? That was Ezra saying, relating to the vision, man, seeing the horrors he's seeing, man. Beginning of sorrows and great mourning, beginnings of famine and great death, beginnings of wars, hearing of wars, rumors of wars, seeing actual wars between nations too. So that's actually, you're seeing that. And the powers shall stand in fear in the beginning of evils. Evils is bad times, man. Troubled times. Horrors, man. Perilous times, man. Perils goes to the evils, the troubles. What shall I do when these evils come? It's a question. Behold, the famine and the plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges to an amendment. Scourge is a tool, instrument for punishment, man. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. So they're not going to turn, man. They're not going to turn and change their ways, man. In fact, they're going to be oblivious to it. They're going to be in that little bubble overlooking, not seeing, being blinded, being numb to it, desensitized to it, not really understanding what's around them, man. Not understanding what's going on around them, man. So they're in their little bubble. They're oblivious to things that's outside of them, man. You know? Read that again. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. They shall not be mindful of the scourges. Be circumspect, not as fools as wise, redeeming the times, because the days are evil. So they're not circumspect, they're not vigilant, they're not watching, relating to the time and season that's going on. So they're not being mindful, man. You know? And the scourges is what? The tools and instruments relating to punishment and cruelty, man. But the victual shall be so good cheap upon the earth. So victual's going to be so good cheap so far, you know. And they'll think themselves to be in a good case. That's that quiet before the storm, man. That's that false sense of peace and safety and security before what? Sudden destruction comes, man. The scripture says. Well, when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes, man. So this is the calm before the storm. You know what I mean? But victuals goes to supplies, shall be so good cheap upon the earth, because you can relatively still buy stuff, you know, cheap, you know, in different areas, like, for example, dollar stores, stuff is still cheap, you know what I mean? That they shall think themselves to be in a good case. So they're going to think themselves to be in a good case because nothing's real immediately happen on that level. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, the sword, famine, great confusion, man. So different things relating to such as the sword, the judgment, death, famine, famine, shortages, great confusion, you know, certain vibrations being set forth, man. Even shall the evils grow upon the earth. So many gonna think, not gonna be mindful of the things that's going on, man. But behind that, there's evils building up and growing, man. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. So either by the famine, which is a lack of supplies and victuals, or other that escape the hunger, and that leads to cannibalism. Cannibalism is going to lead to some stuff they used to do in the ancient times, man. Solder, you know, eat their own flesh, eat other people's flesh. That's coming back. Scripture talks about nothing new under the sun, man. So that famine is going to lead to cannibalism, man, which they did in the ancient times, man. Because if there's a lack of food and victuals, what are they going to eat? They're going to start eating each other, man. For many of them that dwell upon the earth perish of famine, and the other that escape hunger shall the sword destroy. So either by famine or the sword, man. And the dead shall be cast as dung on the street. Dung is pretty much excrement. And there shall be no man to comfort them. So it's not going to. You're not going to be able to comfort in the times that's to come, man, because of the state and condition, man. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down, at least desolation and ruins. Go to Isaiah 24:10-12. Relating to desolation and ruin, the state and condition of that city, man. Now I want to go down a few verses. Scripture talks about, so that one shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. So relating to communication, man. Things are going to be cut off. Things are going to be cut off. You're not going to be able to communicate or see each other. Martial law, you know what I mean, that too. 2nd Ezra 15. Go to the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms, man. They're going to mourn having no helpers, having no bridegrooms, man. Significant other. Women shall mourn having no husbands, significant other. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers, man. Because a thing that's being overlooked is World War III, man. WW3. You know, the second war is past, then the third war. The second war is past, and the third war coming quickly, man. That's going to be helped, and how people are going to be missing either by the sword. And part of that sword is the war, man. You know what I mean? They're going to die in war, man. So the women and men, respectfully, they're not going to have helpers, man, because some of them are going to be drafted to war. You know what I mean? You have undermanned, undernumbers relating to the military. So it's going to come a time where they're going to need bodies. So they might institute that draft, man. You know what I mean? Where people are going to be drafted in, both men and women. In wars shall the bridegrooms be destroyed. They're going to die. And their husbands shall perish of the famine. So either war, they're going to die, or by the famine, they're going to die. Go to Isaiah 3. They're not going to talk about these kind of scriptures in the Christian churches, man. They'll lose the people in the church if they talk about these kind of things. This is not politically, spiritually correct in the matter of speaking. This is Isaiah 3, and thy men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty men in thy mighty in war. The mighty what? Soldiers. They're going to fall in war, man. They're going to die in war by the sword. The sword, part of that sword is relating to war, man. Her gate shall lament and mourn. She being desolate shall sit upon the ground. And pretty much the state and condition relating to the city, man. Her gates, man. They're going to be in desolate and ruined, man. But the point is, the mighty shall die in war, man. You know what I mean? And by the sword, man. You're seeing that already, because we have a war, you know, relating to these respected countries. So you're seeing collateral damage, mass casualties relating to soldiers and dying from war, whether in Russia, Ukraine, or whatever the case might be, for example. These other places. People dying, sometimes innocent people who have nothing to do with that are dying as well, man. Innocent civilians, man. So you're seeing the collateral damage and stuff. Look up that, man. What is collateral damage? Collateral damage in relationship, we are referring to the unintended negative consequences that can result from an action we take or a choice we make. So the choices and actions relating to these countries, man, that's the collateral damage. And usually mass casualties are the outcome of that. Sometimes innocent people, man. Death or injury to civilians, people not in armed forces, civilians, or damages to buildings that are not connected to the military during war. So, for example, buildings, apartment buildings, business buildings, different things. For example, Russia, Ukraine has, you know, that's the casualties. That's the collateral damage, man. The things that's in the middle that get caught up into something that has nothing to do with the two oppositions fighting, man. So that's the collateral damage, man. So usually, like I said, innocent victims, whether civilians, sometimes, you know, people get caught up, man. Just the other one I wanted to look up. Mass casualties. All right, Mass casualties. Mass casualties incident describes an incident in which emergency medical services resources such as personnel and equipment are overwhelmed by numbers of severity of casualties, man. So it's so severe that they can't keep up with the volume of the severity of the casualties, man. So they're overwhelmed by it, whether it's EMS or different entities of to help or entities that relate to help and rescue, man. And that's what you're seeing in these countries, man, such as Russia, Ukraine. You know, you have Iran, Pakistan, Libya, Syria. You know, you have North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, China, U.S. You have something with the Maldives and the India. You got a situation with them as well, and various other places. Now you have the biggest NATO drill, exercise they're going to do until for the next few months up to into May. So all these nations are preparing, man. They're preparing for war, man. Let me get it from Matthew's 24. See what the NIV says. You will hear of wars and rumors of war. That's the gossip and news relating to wars. But see to it that you are not alarmed, marvel, trouble, or dismayed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. So these are really just parts of the beginning, man. We in the latter stages, but these are just beginnings, because really the full-blown stuff hasn't begun yet, man. So these are just beginning things you're going to see, man. Hearing of wars, rumors of wars, and actually seeing wars as well. Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. That's what you're seeing. Nations, great kingdoms rising up against one another. There will be famines, shortages, victual supplies. Talking about global food shortage. That's still something that's not talked about too much, relating to supplies being short, possibly on a global level, man. Relating to the farmers' situation, relating to, having enough of certain things like wheat and different things and supplies from a global aspect. So that could be a big major issue. You control the food, control the supply of the food, you could pretty much control the people, man. You know what I mean? Because food is a very valuable, needed commodity, man. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes. You're seeing earthquakes all over the world, man. From here in this country to all various countries on different levels, from a 5.5 to the 7.5. Various places, man. All these are the beginnings of birth pangs, man. The birth pangs, man, which goes to sorrows. Continue reading. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted. This relates to persecution relating to the faith, relating to your belief, and put to death. and you will be hated by all nations because of me. You know they hated you because they hated me, man. At that time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other, man. So you're going to have ones that are going to turn from the faith, betray one another, hate one another, turn each other in. You know what I mean? That spirit of division, that's part of that spirit. Think not I come to send, think not that I come to send peace on earth, but rather division. So that's part of that, man. For many prophets will appear and deceive many people, false prophets, because of the increase of wickedness. The love of most will grow cold. And Scripture talk about, for iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. So the love of many is going to wax cold, man, because of the increase of iniquity and sin and wickedness, man, relating to that, man. But the one who stands firm in the end shall be saved. So one who endures to the end, the saved shall be saved, as Scripture says, KJV. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony, which is a witness to all nations, kindreds, kinds, tongues on earth, man. And then the end will come. How is it being preached? Well, fastest way is the internet, the unicorn. So videos and different things. That's how it reaches to areas that wouldn't be reached if you just preach on the street. You know what I mean? Because the internet is a global communications relating to be seen globally, man. So the internet is the fastest way to where the word has to be preached, man. Through videos and different things, man, venues, man. Through social medias and different venues, and using videos to, reach a more broader base, man. And the gospel of the kingdom will be preached on the whole world, and a testimony to all the nations. Then the end will come, because that's part of sealing the elect, through the videos, through the internet, man. Expanding it where areas that would be hard to reach. That's through the internet, man. Let's continue reading. Scripture talks about, therefore keep watch, because you know not what the day your Lord will come. So that being vigilant, being watched, being circumspect. Let me see. We go back to the article. So let me see other news. Talk about struggling millennial homeowners. Talk about I didn't need my degree, so pretty much wasting money for college and stuff. U.S. launches 5 rounds of strikes against the Houthis in a week as tensions escalate. Houthis were shooting too at ships, you know what I mean? So back and forth, man. Now this relates to, in Tennessee, relating to the winter storms, a death toll relating to that. People have been dying relating to these winter storms across the country. Guy here, Tim Scott, he's going to endorse former President Donald Trump. He's a Republican from, I think, South Carolina, or one of them states. U.S. President Joe Biden cancels nearly $5 billion more in student debt. relating to the student debt. Let's see what else. So that's pretty much relating to debt relief, man. Student debt relief. This news here: Alan Ball was indicted by the grand jury on involuntary manslaughter over fatal rust relating to that movie, the shooting. You have this. Everybody's been talking about this. Let's see. It's crazy here. Madonna's being sued for turning up late to a gig by two fans who had to get up early for work the next day. This is the bread and circus, man. A lot of people worry about, different things, a whole lot of foolishness that's really not important. But the things that's important, man, they overlook. Scripture talks about you can discern relating to the weather, but you can't discern the signs of the times, man. You know what I mean? And Scripture talks about, in the days of Noah, they giving into marriage, drinking, party, giving into marriage, man. So that's part of their bread and circus, underestimating the times that they're in, man. You know what I mean? Now this talks about here, what is this here? U.S. victory in Yemen. U.S. Navy strikes the heart of Yemen. Houthis flee Yemen. Iran joins the war. And all these countries are the collaboration relating to Ezekiel 38, Iran, Russia, and all of them. They're part of that. U.S., Israel, because you still have tensions with Israel. And Hamas and Iran, Israel and Iran. There's a report that Israel wants to attack Iran. So all these nations are coming together relating to Ezekiel 38, man. They precursively coming together, you know what I mean? And really, they siding up to relating to their respective sides relating to Ezekiel 38, man. You know what I mean? So we seen the precursors of that, man. Because World War III is inevitable, man. It can't be avoided, man. It's going to happen, man. And don't be surprised relating to institution of a draft. That could happen too as well, especially if they need added bodies, man. And guess who's going to go? These 18 and 24s are going to go. And maybe even some older, previous military possibly. You know what I mean? So it's not far-fetched, man. Scriptures do say men will die in war, man. You know what I mean? Even the mighty will die in war, man. So that being said, this is just a few relating to that reports, continuation. And I hope this helps. This is Zayah Wolf. I'm going to give all praise. Yahweh Shem Yeshua Bashem Makakadash. Zayah Wolf Shalom.